Hello and welcome to episode 79 of the Football Roadshow podcast. I'm your host, Johnny, and today we've got a full table. We've got Darcy, Ak, and Fatty. How you doing, guys? How you doing, Darcy?
Good, very good. Great result overnight and mornings, as we'll discuss later.
We'll discuss later.
Maybe you got laid. Who knows?
Darcy, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Anyway, football talk.
I'm gonna do a Johnny and say you've got 20 seconds to summarize it.
Nah, I'll talk later. We'll get into it later.
Ak, how you doing?
Shit.
Yeah, it's doing very well, mate. It's been a minute, man, since we've done this. Well, almost a month. So it was really nice to see you boys and crack a few jokes, give Johnny some shit, Fatty?
It's been a while.
It has been a while. I gave Johnny shit all weekend, so it's all right now.
Yeah, and I saw you on TV actually.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Made a trip down to Melbourne for the Wanderers game, which I think we should also touch on.
Jones out for a reason.
That's right. Yeah. So plenty of football. I think there's a lot to catch up on. A lot of things have been happening. I think we need to catch up for an episode and talk about it. But now I forgot what they were. So someone's gonna have to remind me.
Well, yeah, I mean the league action, you got Champions League up to match day 4.
La Liga, the Premier League, Serie A, lots to.
And Bundesliga is also a bit surprising there as well.
Let's start with what you want to talk about, Darcy. Bring it.
The Classico over the weekend. First one, Benzema versus Lewandowski battle, and Real played a really good game. 3-1 winners. Solid game from everyone. The midfield was great. Forward line, Valverde again up front. Well, the midfield, top player. He's in great form. I mean, he's probably one of the top players in top 10 at least.
Top 10 in the world?
Yeah, maybe top 5 even.
Of all time.
He's
Top
just
five
at the moment. He is so good.
Right, of all time.
He's one of the untouchables of the club.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. He is really good. Like, if you watch him play, like he on the right wing, on the midfield, he's such an energetic player. What a player he is. What a find. For €5 million, can't go wrong.
After the game, Cruz called him a top 3 player in the world right now.
Yeah.
That's high praise, mate.
Wow.
And like it sounds like he's on form and
he like
hitting form for the World Cup, which is good timing.
Yeah, great for Uruguay.
What's he going to do for them? What are they going to do? Nothing. Pointless.
They got a young and upcoming squad. We'll talk about the World Cup in future episodes.
But important win as well because they were level on points, but important win because Barca have some tough games coming up and just before the World Cup as well. Needed that win.
I didn't get to watch the highlights.
Speaking of Lewandowski, what a fucking miss.
That was
I saw that for Lewandowski. That's a miss. That's a big
he wasn't at
fucking
his
miss.
best.
It come across goal, far post, past the keeper, past a couple of defenders. He slides, sticks the foot out. It would have been easier to score. He's literally on the ground inside the 6-yard box, probably about 2-3 yards out, and it goes over the bar.
Yeah,
wow.
Hard and mouth stuff, but
Big miss.
Yeah, huge win.
At what point of the game was that?
The first half, like I think it was 0-0 at the time. Or 1-0 round.
Before I forget,
yeah.
I kind of had a conversation before you guys got here.
Yeah.
Do you at this stage know every group of the World Cup coming up next month? Off the heart.
Yeah.
With a cheeky half smile. Yeah.
Yes.
So you know Group A, Group B, and who's in every group?
Yeah.
All right. We went to this today.
It reminds me of that Simpsons where it was like, oh, you've never been? You don't know?
We went to this today, but there you go.
Okay.
I didn't think so.
It was on your mind, was it?
Yeah. We'll just.
I didn't bring it. I just to share with the people. The reason why the conversation started is the new Panini stickers.
You just reminded me.
The guys got here, and I was putting my stickers on my album like a 10-year-old excited.
You talk about Panini stickers. You reminded me. Before every World Cup tradition, I'll go to the newsagent and pick up the preview magazine every World Cup. So I'm
442 sometimes.
Whatever it is, just whatever the good one is. It previews all the teams, stadiums, players to watch.
It used to be multiple magazines. I'd get 2 or 3 and compare what they say about them.
It's got to come with a wall chart with all the scores and that.
That's right.
Put on the wall. So
and a chart. To who goes next, who goes through
the brackets. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
but it used to be good because I remember I used to get different magazines to see. Like now, obviously, you look up and you think you read predictions and opinion pieces and whatever. Back then you had to read it. So you had to buy 3 different magazines to read their opinion and who they would put as the top 3 or top 4 or who would make. It was crazy. And speaking of Panini, the last time I told you this, the last time I filled my Panini book and actually did it properly was USA 94. That's how long it's been. That's how long it's been. So now you've inspired me. I'm going to go buy it.
I did last World Cup as well.
I'm going to go buy it and do it.
Just reminds me, a month away.
It's only a month away, It's coming around quick.
Squad should be announced soon as well.
Serie A.
Yeah, no, doing very well. You know, very exciting. Napoli's done really well. You know, it's funny that you know, we had Mark the last time we were talking about Napoli. You asked if Napoli was going to win a Serie A anytime soon. We were like, no, that's not happening. But man, they're going strength to strength.
Hopefully,
yeah, hopefully it would be great for the league. It'd be great for Napoli.
Do you want Napoli to win the league?
it'd be nice if someone else win it.
The marathon
And Napoli as well.
So it's Napoli.
Allegri out. That's the word on the.
Well,
Should have been ages ago. Jeez.
Yeah, to be honest, it's a long time coming. They're one of the weekend. Not the most super convincing win though.
Derby.
Yeah, that's right. Juve versus Torino. So you know, it wasn't the most amazing win or anything like that, but it was still something. A win's a win. About 100%. The talk on the town though is that they're waiting for Conte.
I mentioned that a few episodes ago, if you recall, about Spurs, and they were waiting for I know there was some clause or something. It'll be interesting.
Another name that I heard is Deschamps after the World Cup, leaving France and going to Juve.
Oh, he used to play there, so I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense. Former player going back, but
Which means if that's the case, it means Zidane goes to the national team probably.
Zidane's been very quiet. Haven't heard much
Yeah,
about him.
he's kicking back.
The last rumor was United, obviously, before.
I think he
before Ten Hag.
wants the French team.
I'm saying like
Yeah.
the last time
Yeah.
Zidane was mentioned with any job
No.
or linked to anything was
Yeah,
United.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
since
Ten
then,
Hag,
it's just
yeah.
been
Yeah.
it's been quiet. So
If you're Zidane and France, let's hypothetically France win the World Cup again, would you still take it? Like
No.
back-to-back World
No.
Cups. What
No.
do you, what
what
do you
can you
have to
achieve? Nothing.
Yeah, maybe Euros. Maybe he just like it's more of a relaxing job. Not relaxing, but it's different to club football.
Yeah, but
It's
then
not the day-to-day.
I think what Johnny's saying is
Yeah.
that you tarnish your name if you don't win something, because then they're going to say,
100%.
"Oh, you weren't as good as."
It's actually a lose-lose.
Or-
Because if they're able to win and this upcoming World Cup, and then he was to take over and for the next World Cup, if they're winning, if they win the third, they'll be like, "Oh, big deal! The last two we've won." And if you lose, it's like you're the guy that lost their winning streak.
winning it this time, I don't know. We can talk about that later. But then pretty bad form.
But it's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
It's a hypothetical.
So,
Bundesliga.
yeah, Union Berlin on top of the table still. Yeah, it's a tiny club from the other part of Berlin. Got a very small stadium. Got promoted a couple of years ago, doing quite well. I mean, it's very early, and I think Bayern will still run away or win. Will win the league.
Yeah, it's too early. Bayern
But,
will win
in terms of Bundesliga, Dortmund, they're just very erratic.
That was a surprise package. I looked at the table today and
very
they're much
erratic.
lower than I thought they were. I know they lost this morning, but even table-wise,
Yeah, like they've just dropped too many games where they should have won, and they're just very like inconsistent.
Whereabouts
But
are they now?
they've
The
come.
table?
They've
Six.
like
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of. What's the word to describe them? Calamitous. Like they're throwing away
Yeah.
2-0 leads,
Yeah.
you know, in the last 10 minutes and ridiculous things
Yeah.
like that. You know, so just there's some fucking mentality lapse
Yeah.
Wow.
going on
Yeah.
in Dortmund. There's something that's not right, and it's a shame because it was always Dortmund and Bayern. You know, Dortmund.
Yeah.
You know,
Always trying to get
you know,
to get one
always
ahead over there. Bayern.
always trying to get ahead of
Yeah.
Bayern, and you know, a club that a lot of people loved.
I love.
Yeah, the
Bayern.
neutrals
Yeah, as a
Dortmund.
neutral, 100%.
Absolutely, very popular thing.
Support Dortmund, but the fans, you know, the culture of the club and all that sort of stuff. So it's sad to see it sort of in a bit of a lull, a kind of demise.
Yeah, and it's sad in the sense that this was going to be a great opportunity with Bayern stuttering a little, having a pretty soft start to the league. That Dortmund couldn't take that as an opportunity and go, let's run with it. It's surprising, but it's not
I'm pretty
surprising.
sure
at the
they
same
wanted
time.
to. Like something like they said, we don't want to.
It's one of those clubs as well that they get some seasons where they got quality players, they sell them for profit, they try to replace them
Yeah.
adequately. It doesn't quite
That's
work
what I was going
out.
to say though. The high
Yeah.
turnover between all the talented players that come in and out,
And Harlem is
it's
a big one.
hard to get that.
do you think there's a
chemistry
Haaland factor was a plays a part in the current form?
Yeah, some of it. I mean,
It
would-
would absolutely.
yeah.
There's no question.
It would certainly play a significant part, and then many other players came in and out of that team in the last few years as well. You know, players that were significant players, Jadon Sancho, etc.
yeah, Dusman and Ballet as well.
Worth mentioning as well, you mentioned before we started recording, River Plate's coach, Marcelo Gallardo,
Yeah,
leaving the club after 8.5 years as the most successful coach in the history of the club. Such a big club. It's a big. Before he came to the club, Boca were known for being big on the international stage and River in the domestic stage.
Yeah.
Since he's come, it's been the other way around. He's knocked out Boca head-to-head in international tournaments 4 times, which is a record for any club.
Wow.
Against the rivals. He's won 2 Libertadores, which equaled the whole club's record before he came there.
yeah.
Wow.
The only thing he didn't win was a World Cup, Club World Cup.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he's won everything else, including domestic league. By the time he's finished coaching there, favorites. He's mentioned before when Barcelona's job was available. He's mentioned before when PSG's job was available. So he's sort of destined for Europe. He's changed the way, and even if you hate River Plate, you admire what he's done for the club.
Yeah.
The way the team plays.
Do you admire him?
Respect.
That's a change your word.
Like, like as a football fan, you appreciate what River Plate have done in the last few years as much as you hate them.
What do you think he'll be suited to La Liga?
Oh, look, I think he'll probably end up at Monaco or a place like that.
Or he played for.
It's a good place to start in Europe, though.
Yeah.
It'd have to be. Look, I don't see him going to England or Germany or anything like that. Just not that sort of style. It'll need to be a league where he is a bit more free to express himself with a bit more skill, sort of flair style players.
Yeah.
Very hard to make an impression in England. It'd be very cutthroat.
Yeah.
If you came and didn't do well early on, you get chopped and it's not.
Culture shock as well. Like, it's from
Look, he was one of the coaches over the last few years where he built amazing teams and the players get picked to go to Europe, to go to Brazil, and you bring new players in, and he'll keep going and going with new players. And the whole squad will change name by name, but the way, the style of play, the mentality is such at a high level that he did really well.
Yeah.
Would he do a national team though, or not too early?
I think is more of a eventually he might, but I think it's more of a day-to-day sort of mentality.
Like this World Cup, we'll see how they go, and he might.
Oh, Scaloni's already signed for
he has already.
an extension on his contract, regardless of what happens to the World Cup.
They've got trust in him, but
we'll see. I don't want to talk about that.
We'll wait till the actual football.
I thought we were going to suck it out of you a little bit, Johnny.
Nah, Premier League, fatty.
Oh,
Premier League. A lot's been happening. Some big results overnight. The biggest game, obviously, being Liverpool, Man City.
I think I say Tottenham, Everton.
Yeah, that team doesn't exist in my vocab. Liverpool, Man City, big result. Liverpool, considering the run they've been having of late in the Premier League, struggling to rack up points, languishing, mid-table.
I love all the synonyms there about how they're struggling.
So what you're saying is
Good.
Man City lost to a mid-table team.
Basically, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. This is probably the only time I was happy for Liverpool to win. Sort of dent Man City's unbeaten run. So,
but
it was nice.
It's weird seeing Guardiola only made one sub, and he had like Grealish and Mahrez on the bench. Didn't use them. He only brought on Alvarez.
There was one red card as well
for Klopp. He had to go with the linesman for some reason.
Yeah, he ran off his line and he was having a go. Ran down
is it just me? Or does Klopp sometimes look like he took 76 pingers before he started coaching the game?
Yeah.
And his jaw's going everywhere.
It's gnawing and constantly, and his eyes are fucking googly, and I don't know what. Very, very funny. That's another one. Sorry, that would we would say contribute to the demise of Dortmund. The loss of Klopp.
Oh, huge.
So would you say that really was from the time he left that slowly started to happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
But he was.
So we're talking what, 7 years now?
Yeah, 100%. I think that like he was probably the biggest loss that they had, because players like Lewandowski, Hummels, who went before Klopp still managed to keep him competitive.
There you go.
And Haaland didn't score as well. One game.
Oh, Haaland.
Was that a free kick? The third in goal.
Look, initially, I didn't see the foul because I didn't watch the game. I was watching the highlights, and in normal motion, I thought the foul was going to be called on Haaland's 50-50 challenge with the keeper. And if that was the case, I thought, fuck, that is weak. Like, that's not a foul at any day of the week. And then when they wound it back,
fair call.
Firmino foul. But it still raised a question for me. If you look at the footage again, the referee was no more than 10 yards away, 12 at best. Okay. Surely, if he saw fit in normal motion, in normal time, just thought, no, play on. How far back? Like, where do you draw the line?
Do you think that's his way of thinking? It's black and white, no free kick, play on? Or do you think, let it go, VAR's here?
Yeah,
safety net.
It's safety net.
I don't think.
Another example, I don't know if you watched the Man United highlights. Cristiano scored a goal. When he received the ball, about easy 5-6 minutes offside,
Mm.
and the linesman kept it going, and then he ended up scoring.
That's stupid. To me, that's stupid. Like when they see it's offside, I hate this. They think that it's offside, but they keep the flag down to let the play continue and then say, okay,
Then
yes,
bring it
it was
back,
offside.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, no, like just fucking, if it's offside, it's called offside. If it's marginal, they got to go fine. Like, I'm not disagreeing that it wasn't a foul. It was a foul. I agree, it was a foul.
You just
But-
want the referee to have the confidence.
But
to-
what I'm saying is
yeah.
he was there. He wasn't further down the pitch. He
Yeah.
wasn't obstructed. There weren't players in front of him where they said, hey, you must have missed this. So that means that VR has no confidence in the referee. So why does the referee exist? That means that if VR looked at it and said, hey, he's close enough to see it and he's played on, they didn't go in his ear and say, hey, not sure if you missed
Yeah,
this.
100%.
You know? Where do you draw the line? So then anyone can be a ref. You can be a fucking referee. It doesn't matter.
Well,
VR is
that-
always
That
constantly
role's going to
recording.
be redundant in the future, probably.
Yeah.
That was the question that I was going to bring up later. Maybe the future episode.
Yeah.
Is referee going to disappear altogether and just play?
That's the thing that frustrates me. Like things like that, if the referee decides to let it go, let it go. That's fine. In the Arsenal game as well, there was another thing. You know, there was a red card rescinded for Gabriel.
The last minute of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously bullshit, made a meal of it, whatever, blah blah. Things like that, okay, I understand because they're big turning points. But and the referee may have not seen, you know, in that time something had happened, whatever, there was an altercation, then he saw.
There's a bit of chaos, so you
That's
can
right.
understand it. Yeah.
But in the actual play, sure, like the ref's got to be confident enough to make a call and stick with it.
It's like Johnny said, safety net. It's a way of not being accountable in
Yeah.
case they get it wrong later or anything like that. It's we want to get it. We want to get the call right. I don't have to make the call.
That's the way of the world now, isn't it? No accountability.
No.
Before we touch on the Premier League leaders,
I thought that was going to have a segment on its own.
He went a whole episode on that.
I want a quick comment on Chelsea's form. I think they started to win a few games. Mason Mount finding form.
Yeah, good.
Was a
goals
change
as
of
well.
coach
Yeah,
and a factor in this as well?
yeah, I think so. I think Thomas Tuchel had lost the dressing room. He'd had some disagreements with the board as well, and that's typical Thomas Tuchel. Happened at Dortmund, happened at PSG as well. Left on bad terms are there. So I think that change he can be a pretty hard person to deal with, from what I've heard.
He wasn't happy with the summer transfer window either, was he?
I don't know if he was happy, but like they spent quite a lot on defenders. That's what
Well,
I'm
look,
thinking.
obviously, I think the catalyst for Chelsea, being impartial here, the catalyst for Chelsea was obviously the Abramovich situation, having to leave and all that sort of stuff, sell the club and that transition, the uncertainty, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, whatever owner came in, there wouldn't have been the free reign that Abramovich had given. Like Abramovich did it because he loved the club. He put money in and he said, I want this club to be successful. You know, anyone else coming in is not going to be of the same ilk. It's going to be, well, it's a business. We're going to make sure the right thing, blah, blah,
100%,
blah.
Yeah.
No, you can't spend too much here. You can't do that. There's going to be some restrictions. Going to be
They
a
want to
few
maximize their profits.
hands tied
100%.
behind the back a little bit, make things difficult. So I think that would have affected Tuchel 100%.
Yeah.
100% it would have affected him and it would have affected his transfer market. And we saw those cracks appear, specifically pinpointing it in the preseason. They struggled in the preseason. That lost to Arsenal in preseason when he came in and threw his players under the bus and said, there's players that don't want to be here, they shouldn't be here, and things like that. You already start to say, well, you know what? He's already losing some of the support there in the dressing
He'd
room.
lost,
To me, that's when I started to realize, like, oh, Chelsea look like they're in a bit of trouble.
Lost to Dinamo Zagreb too in the Champions League.
Losing to Zagreb was, I
Yeah.
think, that was the dagger.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was the end of it. So,
I see what Harry Potter's uncle, Graham Potter.
Harry Potter.
I was going
What
to say
about-
though, I think the two Champions League fixtures against a stuttering AC Milan came at a good time. AC Milan, obviously, with the reputation that they have, two real, convincing good wins over there, over Milan really makes it look a lot better. Gives them a real thing of confidence.
So
Or is Milan like, yeah, it's still
So what you're saying-
you know?
What you're saying is that an inconsistent English team against the Italian champions just proves that it feels stronger than Serie A.
Shots fired.
That was
Well,
a deep sigh, that one.
Yeah,
Deep.
well, it was a deep side.
Yeah.
Look, AC Milan are not
They're
currently
Italian
firing.
champions.
Okay, they're the Italian champions. They're not firing all cylinders. What do you want from
Didn't
me?
they just win a big game in the last couple of weeks? Didn't they beat the Juve and they won?
Yeah, Juve's not been Juve for a couple of years.
What
So they
stage in
just
Milan?
want to stick the boot in. That's what he wanted to do.
One season wonders.
Do you think so?
Nah, I hope not. I hope it's good for Serie A when they're doing well.
Fatty,
Tell me, Johnny.
Arteta.
Arteta.
So Milan's coming third. Doing all right.
Yeah, they're all right, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, Arsenal, top of the league. Are they going to be the new champions of the Premier League?
No, we're not going to be the champions. Man City is too strong.
10 games in, though, top of the league.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Did you expect this?
No, definitely not. No one expected that. 10 games in, 9 wins, 27 points, 1 loss. Absolutely not. Like if you had told any club that, Man City aside probably, and possibly Liverpool, but anyone else, if you said 9 wins out of 10, they'll fucking bite your hand off.
Important as well. They had a couple of those wins, one against Tottenham, one against Liverpool. That's important because they lost to Man United. People thought, they can't do it against the bigger clubs. And
yeah, look, Man United's always a plucky one, regardless of who they play. Man United, in the current form they're in, they will struggle against the smaller teams. They like to sort of lift. Obviously, they can't lift against the cities and that. They're just technically far too superior to them.
Yeah.
But United's always been a bogey team for Arsenal, especially playing away. But I wasn't too worried about the United result because I felt like we played better than they did, and just a couple of things didn't go our way. They took their chances, and the scoreline wasn't reflective of the game. So I wasn't too concerned about it, and I would rather the loss come that early and sort of, all right, we need to adjust or shake things up or whatever. They've done well. Like, look, the Leeds game, if I was honest, I'd say we were very lucky. The Leeds had a lot of chances that they didn't take, missed penalty, a lot of close calls, a lot of throwing your body on the line and whatnot. But it showed a strong mentality. And Arsenal would have easily lost games like that in the last 2, 3, 5 years even.
So
we lose games like that, draw games very late on.
That's what wins trophies. Those games.
Yeah, so it's important. I don't see us winning the league. City's still too strong. If we keep the spine of this team for another 2 years, I think not next year, maybe season after. If we're consistently in the top 3, then you'd have to say, look, they have to have a tilt in the title in the next 2 seasons.
All right, I'm going to say let's get the show started because I had a lot to catch up
I thought
on.
about that.
It's been 20-something minutes.
Yeah.
But let's get the intro on and let's get into the topic today.
Welcome to the Football Retro Podcast.
The word welcome, I guess, is stretching it a little when you're an Australian in a place like this today.
And welcome back.
This thing here says,
Yeah.
Sorry,
Darcy getting his research out. Yeah. So today, obviously, the World Cup's approaching. A big month coming up in regards to the clubs as well. And there's that old question of a player starting to take care of themselves to not want to get injured for the World Cup. Obviously, it's a risky season for the players because you got in the back of your mind, do I go into this tackle? I don't know, maybe. Do I back off because I don't want to get injured? Do I play less games? The load management starting to play part, which affects the clubs, affects performance, affects the players' mentality. And we already see some players missing in this 2022 Qatar World Cup.
Yep.
How do you think the players' mentality coming in the next couple of weeks is going to be?
Yeah, like you said, like they'll be thinking in the back of their mind, World Cup's a month away, my spot's on the line here, one little injury now, could jeopardise my spot in the team. And you see England, the right back spot alone, the 3 right backs, I think, are injured. And Reece James is gone for 8 weeks. He's out.
Yep.
You get to the whole list now?
Alexander-Arnold, I think
should have off the show now.
He played this morning, Kyle Walker. So those 3. That's just the right back.
Look, I think that's a big point that was always an issue, specifically in the Premier League. I speak on behalf of the Premier League and the experience from that. There's always a club versus country issue. They say, but the club pays your wages, so you got to do what the club tells you, or they don't want to release players, especially with African Cup of Nations, because African Cup of Nations used to come at a bad time, and then a lot of African,
but they have no choice but to do it in that time.
Yeah, but a lot of African players want to go because they have that desire to play for their countries, and the clubs will be like, no, we don't want to go. In the Premier League, it felt like they viewed the AFCON as an inferior tournament as opposed to the World Cup, obviously, but even as opposed to the Euros. So they would always not want to. They'd squeeze players and make them not want to go and blah blah blah. And there was always an issue. There's a famous issue with Adebayor as well, and Wenger. I don't know why. There's a lot of shit. So that point is very relevant now because the World Cup this time falls smack bang in the season. So it's a very prevalent issue. Unfortunately, clubs have no say when it comes to this because it's an international tournament. It's a FIFA date. So it'll be interesting how they manage it. And players come back. You're going to see a lot of clubs whinging if someone comes back injured.
Yeah.
The fixtures are all everywhere. It's like a rest period for the players in regards to those players that make the final.
Yeah.
So the club's going to be jeopardized once again with the better players. You expect the bigger teams, bigger countries to make the World Cup final and semi-finals and stuff. Get to the later stages. So those big names going to be jeopardized in playing more games, bigger loads, less rest. Going into the second half of the season for the clubs.
Yeah, especially the Premier League, which doesn't have a winter break. So
that's right.
So Qatar's
are the other countries going to have winter breaks though?
They would. Germany,
leagues?
France would because.
But considering there's already a break technically because of the World Cup,
they'll just do midweek games. I think probably midweek catch up.
Which once again, the teams that make the Champions League quarters and semis are playing midweek.
Yeah, but that Champions League's almost done and dusted soon. Normally it'd be towards the end of December. They're trying to do the Champions League done group stage. Obviously before the World Cup.
Yeah, look, the fixtures are going to change a lot. But from what I heard, the FA Cup final still mid-May. Premier League still finishing same time as always, which surprised. I thought everything was going to be pushed back a little bit and have a shorter summer break, which makes more sense. But they're going to squeeze everything in the first half of the year, which, like I said, I'm concerned about the player load. Are we going to see more injuries coming up in?
That's you speaking on player welfare, rather than fuck it. I mean, I'll say fuck it, more football.
This is where we see which clubs have the best depth, I guess.
Look,
Man Cities and that would.
But 100%. But like even on the big clubs like Man City, their depth is probably going to be represented their national team as well. Anyway, I think what's important is that all our predictions at the beginning of the season is that didn't really mean much because this World Cup is it's unprecedented. We don't know what the reaction is going to be amongst clubs, amongst players. You're talking about like players that might take it easy for in the lead up to avoid injury. What about the?
So will they do it consciously or subconsciously?
Yeah.
Still.
But what I was going to say, what about the players that it isn't guaranteed that they'll be selected, who might push that extra mile to impress. And then, you never know when it comes to injuries, when it comes to injuring other players. Like you got a real mix of players who some people might not want to go for the extra tackle, but some players feel that they must.
There's one player that doesn't have to worry about that, and he's going to the World Cup. Very much for sure.
Hazard.
Yeah.
I knew where it was going.
Didn't play again in Classico.
It was such a low jab. You could see the way he was saying he was angry.
I know.
Is he captain for Belgium?
He was, but he's not playing. He's playing like 40, 60-minute games.
Imagine he goes to the Belgian national team
and wins it for him,
and they fucking make the semis and he leads them.
How would it make you feel seeing Belgium, seeing Hazard lift the trophy?
Good. I don't care. But
you do care, but you do.
I know, but like,
come on, bro.
You're gonna hear, oh, real good, didn't use him.
I couldn't believe that's what you were going with that. And I couldn't believe you guessed it correctly.
I knew where it was.
Heading in bitter to the end. Like shit. There's one player that's gonna go.
When you mentioned about pushing, and we'll jump on the list now. Of players that are going to miss out on the World Cup. Because when you mention about players who are on the verge of making it, not making it, and pushing themselves and getting injured, Dybala comes to mind. And Dybala got injured last week, and he's likely by this stage to miss out because of this injury.
Yeah. What about Di Maria as well? Got injured.
Di Maria has got 2-3 weeks out.
Blow for them.
Di Maria's always injured.
But Di Maria lives injured. Like Di Maria goes in the morning of the night to the toilet to piss, and he pulls a hamstring.
For some reason, he plays for Argentina. He lifts for them, and he's an important player.
Oh, here we go. Now tell us how shit he was for Madrid.
No, he wasn't actually.
He loved him, bro.
It was good.
Big Ryan retired.
Yeah, your mate.
I heard an interview not long ago. Talking about, did an interview like a one-on-one in-depth interview. I heard an interview.
Oh, they said I did an interview with him. I'm like, fuck, you interviewed this
he spoke about a lot about the quizzes we copped, and you can tell he's been working on it with a psychologist because he's pushing everything positive.
Yeah.
He copped a fair bit.
As if you don't feel for him. You should be worried about his welfare.
Parts during of that interview.
I have probably regard for what he did for Real Madrid. The good memories of him there.
I realize that's how you judge players, whether they're good for Madrid or shit. That's it.
But he scored a lot of goals. He did well for him.
If they were good for Madrid, I loved him. He did well for us. When he was shit for Madrid,
RB the clutch.
he needs to fuck off.
It is all roads lead to the one topic. I really like it.
Like Hazard, he's fucking stealing away. Just
So is Bale a good player?
He is. He is. That's fine.
You're good value.
average. Has Bale?
It wasn't in pain to admit it though.
No, my thoughts on him. You know?
Well, they got Dybala and Di Maria too.
Yeah,
For Argentina, who are
yeah,
doubtful.
100%.
Yeah.
And you know, I got to feel for Dybala because there's been so many years where he's had such a mixed relationship with the Argentinian national team. He came out and said he couldn't play alongside Messi. That you know, and he's had some up and down performances. It feels like every World Cup, players like Dybala, players that you know are in the elite bracket. It's always a chance for them to rewrite their own narrative. Hypothetically, Dybala goes into the World Cup, kills it. No one's going to talk about the relationship he's had in the last few years with Argentina. No one would care anymore. Same with you know,
100%.
Karim Benzema, right?
Yeah.
So it always feels like the World Cup's an opportunity to rewrite their legacy.
Look, Dybala's had a fair few chances in the national team.
Oh, yeah,
and every
he
time when Messi was injured or away or didn't play, he would be starting. He never really took those chances.
That's right.
He's not in the starting 11 for sure.
Yeah,
starting 11 of Argentina just comes off for the first time ever. Comes off very easily on your mind. He's not there, and he's not even that top 3 off the bench option.
Yeah.
Maybe because he plays very similar to Messi. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a big shadow to be under. Like when you come on, you're supposed to be replacing Messi.
But you can be flexible enough in your role to play alongside of him. And he hasn't proven that.
Maybe he's mentally weak.
I don't think when I heard, look, he's in great form with Roma. He was actually playing well. He was scoring goals. When I heard he was injured, I didn't feel a big loss.
No, and
Di Maria is a bigger loss because of the change as well. Di Maria is part of that squad, part of that gel.
Experience.
Yeah, the chemistry.
I think he'll go regardless whether he's not 100% or not. He'll be part of that squad.
Yeah, but even just for the dressing room chemistry that Johnny mentioned. But like I was saying, for me, because that World Cup is that chance to rewrite that. For players, it really would suck for Dybala, and for there are many players that are going into the World Cup with that opportunity as well.
I think the team that's been suffered the most with injuries is France.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I was going to mention them.
Yeah,
the French team, obviously, two big names are Pogba and Kante.
Yeah,
are they confirmed out?
Pogba, I'm not sure if there's a bit of chance for him, but I heard Kante's gone.
Really?
I think.
I thought the status was still like doubtful.
At this stage, they're both doubtful, according to this website.
Okay. Well,
I
don't know. There's a month to go.
I mean,
a month to go.
I don't know how I feel about Pogba. If I was French's manager, I would prefer Kante over Pogba.
But in saying that, I read a crazy stat recently that Kante and Pogba, the 30-something games that started together for France, they've never lost.
Yeah, for some reason, national team, they tend to just work well and they deliver, especially Pogba. He's a different player compared to the.
Would you say because one's tall and one's short?
That's true, but it's not that. No, it's not.
It's true, but it's
he doesn't like you bringing this up.
Previous episode, inside joke. Yeah. If you're watching, if you're a follower of the show, you understand.
My analogy, the Darcy analogy.
Yeah, Darcy analogy.
Kamara, Boubacar Kamara is definitely out for the French team. Pogba, Lucas Digne, doubtful. Lucas Hernandez, doubtful. And Kimpembe, doubtful.
Kimpembe might be.
No. Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't see France doing it this year anyway.
Yeah, not in the same light as 2018.
No,
right?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
I think there's been many.
There's too much shit going on and bit of egos and the whole Mbappe saga. Pogba's just vanished off the face of the earth.
Didn't say about that witch doctor. He had a witch doctor to curse on Pogba. Pogba did it on Mbappe, something like that.
I read that as well. Some bullshit. It's just
Pogba's brother came out and said,
"Yeah, Pogba's brother." It's just no shortage of drama. The French team, 2010 World Cup. Remember that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like honestly, but even if you remove the drama out of it, the team, all from all around, just doesn't look as strong.
Yeah.
Starting with Rafael Varane. He's not the same player as he was since 2018.
No.
And that's going to be huge because he was immense for him. And
I got his sticker today.
Good decision to let him go.
It was actually.
Courtois, is he injured?
He is, yeah. He didn't play this morning.
Back pain.
They didn't risk him.
Sciatica, So he's doubtful for the World Cup as well.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's only 4 weeks away, so they're rushed against time, man.
So it starts in 4 weeks. Usually, the
Is it
World
the
Cup
third-
starts mid-June, which means players are already by the end of May
Exhausted.
are already getting together in camp.
Yeah.
3-4 weeks before the World Cup.
Yeah.
So when are we seeing the camps get together? Do you know?
It should be within the next 3 weeks at least.
Well, if the World Cup starts in 4
Yeah,
weeks,
well,
you would think
at least a week to prepare.
I
even more than a
I
week
mean,
to prepare.
I mean,
Because-
looking at fixtures, there are still fixtures running
There's
till
still 2 Champions League
till
matches.
first week of November.
I'm still thinking
crazy.
there's still 2 match days of the Champions League group stage to go.
So this is part of the Qatar catastrophe. Catastrophe.
Catastrophe.
The fact that in the previous World Cups, in every single World Cup that I know of,
Yeah.
you've had 4-week camp before the World Cup, and the teams
Yeah.
get to work on stuff.
Mm.
Are you telling me some teams are going to have a week to 10 days to prepare for an international tournament like the World Cup?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
It's-
And,
Yeah.
the results will you'll see very clearly on the pitch quality of football, the injuries,
Lack of chemistry.
lack of chemistry. It'll be quite evident. It's FIFA, falling on their own greed, and
Imagine all this shit we're saying and nothing happens, and you get a semi-final, just Brazil, Argentina, France,
it becomes like one of the best
Germany.
World Cups ever.
and just a standard.
No
everyone
surprise packets.
expect- Yeah, no surprises.
Do you know,
It's
do
a
you know
great
what's,
classic
do you know what's
World Cup.
nice for us as well? It's the first time in history we'll get to watch a World Cup with warm weather.
Yeah, I was
Mm,
thinking
that's
of that.
true.
Summer World Cup
No
for
heaters,
us
no heaters and blankets.
will be very nice. I mean,
Yeah.
there's something nice about waking up
Yeah, in the
You know,
cold, and
in the cold.
it's very familiar, though.
blankets.
It's not
Yeah.
so-
I'm gonna make
so,
a tea,
Yeah.
watch the game, wrapped up. But this time might be, having pool parties and shit, watching
Nice.
the fucking games. Why not?
Tell me which country you're interested in. I'll tell you what kind of injuries they have coming up to the World Cup.
What
at
kind
this
of
stage.
injuries?
What type of players, important
the
players?
injury stats.
Germany.
Oh, I did trying to mention
Germany.
England.
Actually,
Um,
Brazil as well.
Brazil.
Not many
Fucking
injuries.
just
eh?
out two.
Brazil's got more depth than
Yeah, just
Only
out,
two.
just after.
Germany. Michael
That's it.
Roy's
Yeah.
He's always.
doubtful.
Yeah, but he's not the same
He's very injury prone.
impact player. What about Florian Wirtz?
Florian Wirtz is doubtful as well.
Okay.
ACL.
ACL. Fair enough.
We say Brazil's only got one. Arthur Melo,
Who the fuck's that?
Liverpool player.
Oh, that
He was at
shit.
Barcelona, wasn't he?
Also,
And
Juve.
Juve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cares?
He's out.
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean? Who's that?
Liverpool. Who gives a fuck? Does he even play? No.
But he's injured.
It's all right. Cameroon and Ghana have no injuries. You're all right.
Bro, Brazil could field two teams in that.
The
fucking World
depth
Cup.
of the Brazilian team was
Just the
unbelievable.
attack itself. Is,
The players, and we'll touch these later episodes, but the players that could miss out on the World Cup for Brazil just because there's no room in the squad.
yeah.
And this is the first time ever that teams can take 26 players instead of 23. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was because of COVID and that.
But COVID happened 6 years ago.
No, that's why they increased squads for
And they
Euros.
kept it. So
Called
that's- that's-
COVID.
kept it.
It's
So
called
seven to start.
COVID 14 because it happened in 2014.
Well, no,
It's over.
It's the same thing as a sub.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they did increase it to 26 for the Euros and that. So
because of World War II, now they're going to introduce.
I know, but it's FIFA's rules. Down to them.
And who's managing Brazil?
Who's
Tite.
managing? Tite.
Who?
Tite. He coached in Brazil.
Interesting.
Morocco have a few injuries. I don't know who they are, but Messina, isn't it the ice cream?
Morocco. Hakim Ziyech quit on the national team, so I haven't heard him coming back. So
Yeah,
They
that's
probably
right.
had a fight over a tagine.
Portugal, Pedro Neto out, Ricardo Pereira out, Nuno Mendes doubtful, and Pepe doubtful.
Portugal doesn't have anyone except Cristiano Ronaldo. Everyone else is just
Bruno, Bernardo Silva.
they're add-ons.
Joao
They're add-ons.
Felix,
It's Cristiano Ronaldo and nobody else. That's it.
Diogo
What's
Jota.
their squad, bro? That's who they rely on.
Uruguay
They don't go
with
shit.
Araujo.
Oh, he's out. Yeah, it's a big blow for them.
Barcelona player.
Yeah, probably the only strong best defender they got at the moment. Barcelona. He was a good player for them, but they're struggling without him.
With a smirk.
Another player. Another player that's
Is it?
not on this list
struggling.
and is doubtful is Godin.
Oh, he's still
Got
going.
it. How old is this guy? 62?
He plays for Vélez.
Exactly. How
What
old
plays? Yeah, he's played like 5 minutes in the whole since he's been injured the whole
What does
time.
he do? Just talk, probably. Doesn't actually run.
Uruguay's got like
He went to Spain to recover from his injuries. He hasn't been around.
Uruguay's one of those squads. They got a extreme of young players going, but then a very
Old
old
Cavani,
veteran,
Suarez,
and
Godin.
their coach as well that is still there. Was he gone?
No, he's
As far
gone.
as
It's finished, yeah.
he was on crutches once.
Croatia, Brozovic,
That's a big loss.
Yeah.
Doubtful.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? The Croatians actually thinking they have a legitimate chance. That's what's funny.
Modric's last World Cup.
But
Probably.
like I have a mate who's Croatian who's talking to me. He's like, "Oh no one can touch us." And I'm like, "Please,
Oh,
please." Like, I get your pride and your nationalism, but it's so misplaced. Like you're so blinded. I get it.
Yeah.
I like be proud of your country and all that shit, but
Your Dutch team,
be realistic.
Wijnaldum out,
Yeah. Never know, but
Wijnaldum's been out for fucking 3 months.
the
No one
league
knows where he is.
out.
Deleted.
I was doubtful.
Yeah.
Sorry. But England's got a few names out as well. Calvin Phillips out.
Oh.
Smith Rowe out.
Smith Rowe had been injured for a while. Hasn't actually featured for Arsenal at all. Even if he was not injured, I don't think he would have made it because he's not getting game time.
And both Reece James and Kyle Walker doubtful.
I heard James is 8 weeks, so he might be completely gone. So.
There you go. And Kyle Walker, I heard it's almost gone as well.
Kyle Walker's overrated in
So
my
they don't-
opinion.
Yeah, but they'll be part of the squad. You know they were.
Alexander Arnold was injured, but he's also overrated.
Overrated.
Look at them. Yeah, they're not having a good season.
How's Harry Kane?
Yeah, what'd you say?
Harry Kane's killing it.
Fuck, when is he going to die, that cunt?
Does the guy ever miss a penalty?
Huh?
Does the guy ever miss a penalty?
No.
He's like the best.
He did, didn't he, on the weekend?
Him and
Didn't he
Shearer.
miss the weekend?
No, Bamford missed for Leeds.
Bamford missed
Oh.
Leeds penalty.
But he had one, and Pickford went the right way, and he wasn't under a perfect positioning, but he hit it so strong that it doesn't miss.
Yeah, puts it
He reminds me a lot of Shearer.
Fucking horse face cunt. Don't compare him to Shearer.
When Kane
Fuck that cunt.
played for Arsenal's youth team back when he was 12, then
I'm glad he doesn't play for us anymore. Fuck him.
Miles Robinson's doubtful for USA, in case you're wondering.
I was worried about it.
USA.
She holds it. For the Simpsons fans out there.
Oh god.
Kai Rolls, broken foot, doubtful for Australia, in case you're wondering. For
Who the fuck is that?
Socceroos, and Harry Suter has got an
Oh
injury.
fuck Suter. That guy's 6 foot
Giant.
17. He's huge.
6'7".
The guy's a fucking giant and he's just fucking so cumbersome and slow.
Yeah.
He's like a fucking
Reminds me of
Frankenstein.
Mertesacker.
Serbia, Vilic and Lazovic doubtful. So no big names there. In Poland, no big names. Mexico, Corona. Corona's out. In case you're wondering.
What about Wales?
You talk about Mexico, the keeper he always lifts
Is
the
Gareth
World Cup,
Bale
not
in
sure.
for Wales? That's all that matters.
Wales have no injury, so Bale's fit, ready to go. Where's he now? Where's he playing now?
Wales, Golf, Madrid in
Yeah,
that
that's it.
order.
Where's Bale now?
LA.
LA?
Hopefully
LAFC.
he's being appreciated.
Treated well.
Sure.
Funny how he's
Like-
gone through a run of healthy games now.
Wales, Belgium, World Cup final.
Right.
Imagine when they're shaking it, and they have to exchange things like for later round games, like round of 16, wherever they exchange a little fucking what are they called?
Mementos.
The players.
The little flags.
Mementos.
Yeah, those fucking things. Imagine they Hazard and Bale
I mean,
stand there and then they unfurl that banner. Fuck Madrid.
they played. each other-
Fun fact: this one up here is when I played against Barcelona. They gave us all one.
When you played, but
Against
you bought
Barcelona.
you bought that from the shop, you fucking liar.
Okay, each to their own story. I'll stick to mine. We lost the game 9-1, but I'll stick to it.
9-1.
You'll see.
It's 2005, so that was a long time ago. Now, previous World Cups, big names that missed out due to injury.
Mhm.
The one that comes to mind, I think it was 06 World Cup when David Beckham did his Achilles, snapped his Achilles.
Was that 2010?
Two.
No, it wasn't
Oh,
02.
2010. He
Because 02
missed
got
it.
against us.
He had an injury
Us.
cloud going into it, right?
No, there was one World Cup where he snapped his Achilles just before the World Cup.
2010.
2010, yeah.
Was it 2010?
Because he played in 26 or 2006.
Okay. So that came to mind in regards to injury because it's very close. It was just before the World Cup, one of the previous
Yeah.
warm-up games. I was happy because fuck England.
Yeah.
But mate, snapping your Achilles would be disgusting.
Yeah, that would be painful.
Ouch.
What other names come to mind for you guys?
You want me to go first? I will, you
Don't rush. It's fine.
You got to go for the most kind of obvious name that we all think about when you think of legendary players. Romario, Mr. 98 World
Yeah.
Cup.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go
Yeah.
first.
It's all right. I reckon if he played, that
That was a
Brazil
good one.
would have won the
Which injury did you have? Do you remember?
No, he just him and
I've got a
Ronaldo,
shit memory.
with that the strike partnership up front were like these guys. Brazil were favourites, and you saw that night commercial they had in the airport. And, yeah, that
Love
was
that
like
commercial.
the Brazil team everyone was watching out for. They were heavy favourites.
So the night commercial is really what put it over the edge for you. You really
No, not that, but like even before the Confederations Cup,
even before the
they
commercial,
smashed Australia 6-0 and they each got a hat trick, and they were just so lethal. But he got injured and he missed out.
Great analysis of Darcy.
Another
Beating Australia,
another
the
Brazilian
commercial.
injury is not before the World Cup, but during the World Cup. Not Neymar with his back in 2014 as well, but Pelé in the 1962 World Cup getting injured in the first game and not playing for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a big. They still won the World Cup.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's how much depth that country has in regards to players.
Yeah,
But yeah, big loss.
it was.
Well, yeah, it was a big loss for, Brazil. Like you said, Brazil went on to win. To be honest, the person who lost the most in that was Pele, because a lot of people like to use that as a reason why, Pele's not that good. They won the World Cup without him.
That's a fair point.
Hi. he helps me in the Pele Maradona argument.
Yeah, he won three legitimate ones, yeah.
2002, two spring to mind, two freak injuries actually. One of them, Emerson, Brazil captain. He was playing goalkeeper and training and injured, dislocated his shoulder, ruled out for the tournament. And Canizares, he dropped an aftershave bottle in the hotel on his foot. Broke
I remember that.
Right,
Canizares story.
yeah.
Broke a bone, and
I remember that.
SCS became number one since then. Hasn't looked back since.
Wow.
Santiago Canizares.
He was because Canizares was number one.
That's right, because he was killing it for Valencia.
Yeah.
So tell that story again.
Dropped an aftershave bottle in his foot in the hotel.
Yeah, that's true.
What a
I remember
weight
that
to miss
story.
out
I
on
Broke a
remember that
bone
story.
and
2002, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he just come off that great 2 seasons with Valencia, where they made 2 successive Champions League finals. That's
and won
right.
the league as well.
I would go into a heavy depression if I did
Yeah,
that.
especially because
Yeah.
how old was he at the time? He was it was near the tail end of his career. Like, it was close to the end.
And-
That was his last World Cup. That was his last opportunity.
And,
Hurrah.
and his words were like, "That's life." So he said,
That's life.
and also same 2002, France, the defending champion, Robert Pires had a great year with Arsenal. He got injured.
Yeah.
Big blow for them. And then Zidane played the Champions League final. Of course, the winning goal, and then got injured in the warm-up game. He missed the first 2 games. They rushed him for that last game, but shouldn't have played. And it was France got knocked out.
Yeah.
The rest of his history.
He was 32 at that stage.
Yeah, so unfortunately for him, that really sucks. And I mean, like for Spain though, they did have Casillas right behind
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Yeah.
No, fair enough.
Just stayed in his own.
There's that one.
Story. I remember that story. That fucking bottle on his foot. How
What a
stupid.
weight to miss out on the World Cup.
How stupid.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones of all time, that would have to be Alfredo Di Stefano. His 1950 World Cup, 1954 World Cup, then 1962 when he tried playing for Spain. And just had rotten luck in his career, and it really affected, I guess, his legacy moving forward. Because if he had played, you never know, Argentina might have had a 3rd World Cup on.
He played for 3 different countries.
Yeah,
Back then, you could. He played for Argentina, played for Colombia, and he played for
Spain.
I don't know what the Colombian connection. I think it was just playing in Colombia for a little bit, or I don't know what the connection was there.
Yeah.
We got paid off.
Not like that now. You think once you hit a certain age, you get a cap, and that's it.
You can only play 17s and then
Yeah.
change. I think
Yeah.
after that, if you
And
play a cap, you can't.
That was changed before any level. If you played for, you stick with that country. Because it happened with Tim Cahill. He played like a muck around game with Samoa. Didn't realize it was an official match.
Yeah.
And then, no, you can't play for Australia. Then FIFA changed the rules. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Tim Cahill's story made the
Fucking
Tim
hell, mate.
Cahill's
Just
story.
stayed.
Imagine that losing out on Tim Cahill because he played for Samoa.
What would you be doing now? Fuck, Samoa can't even win fucking rugby. They got slapped by England. They're gonna fucking do it in soccer.
And another example of this, Higuain in the interview I was just talking about, he said the French came looking for him. And
That's right, yeah.
Well, yeah, he was born there because he's
2000, and when did he go to Madrid?
late 2006.
Okay, about that time they came
Yeah.
looking for him.
Yeah.
But he wants to play for Argentina, obviously, because he was born in
His
France.
father was playing there at the time.
Yeah, and he moved back to Argentina when he was 10 months old. He said.
Yeah, I mean, he said, I don't speak French or anything. I'm like, allegiance to Argentina. You're probably thinking, damn, wish you picked French.
And isn't the reverse true with David Trezeguet?
Yes, he
But
was.
Trezeguet was in Argentina till he was like 13 or 14. Then he went to.
Is he actually Argentinian heritage or Trezeguet, or was he just there?
My understanding is that he was in Platense, the club in Argentina, until about 13,
Okay.
and then he went to France.
Yeah, he did play his youth in Argentina. That's
Yeah.
right.
Then he
There's a
played-
few players. that-
Camoranesi
dual
for
nationalities
Italian,
like
is Argentina.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daniel Osvaldo, he played in Serie A. He played for Italian team, he's Argentinian.
Well, yeah, Argentina and Italy have that connection. So
that. They're all mixed anyway.
We're all Italians.
you've got two Zanettis. One plays for Argentina, one played for Italy. Remember Cristiano Zanetti?
Well, the name's Messi, Maradona, they're traditionally
Yeah.
Yeah.
Italian names.
Italian.
Any other injuries that come to mind of big losses in the World Cup? Any big?
Oh, we mentioned Marco Reus. He missed out in the 2014 World Cup. Germany won it, but he's just had no luck with injuries over the years. Misses out tournament after tournament. He's a great player, but his body.
What World Cup was it, mate?
2014.
Funnily enough, Germany didn't seem to need him though.
Well, I didn't need him, but like I'm saying his luck. He's him.
I feel like the show's about to like abruptly end.
Yeah,
They did pretty well without him.
yeah, they won it.
Yeah.
But in 2002, I don't know if German player Sebastian Deisler.
Yeah.
He was a great up and coming player for Germany at a time when German football was at its lowest, and he was out for 2002 tournament, missed out of injury, and then knocked back after knockback for the next few World Cups, and he retired in mid 20s or late 20s and suffered depression. So yeah, he was another great player. That
I don't think Johnny's really interested in Germany at all.
Michael Ballack missed the 2010 World Cup.
That's right, he did too.
Yeah.
Was it injury or just getting us selected? I thought.
No,
That's funny you mentioned Ballack because after that, when the Wanderers came into existence, 2012, Ballack was touted as the
of the
marquee,
favourites to
yeah,
come
the
to the-
marquee signings, and then
Mhm.
they were trying to get in. They were very close apparently, and then he just said, "Fuck it, I'm retiring. I'm not playing anything." Got retired completely from club football at the time.
Mm.
Didn't end up going anyway. And yeah, the rest
Yeah.
is history.
No, ruptured his ligaments in his
Oh.
ankle, mate.
Any? Not just a World Cup. Any Euros that you can think of players missing out due to injury?
Um,
I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready for that.
Yeah.
Rudiger in 2016, he missed out on that. He was at Roma at the time. Yeah,
I'm surprised you even remember that you recalled anything.
yeah.
I'll put you on that. It's a tough question. I didn't expect you to have anyone.
David Villa 2012, it didn't matter because Spain
You know,
ended up,
just showing off.
ended up winning it. Yeah.
All right, mate, you can.
It didn't matter, but he still missed out.
Yeah.
That was it. It's still David Villa. Fuck.
Yeah,
Lethal.
Torres was there, so
I mean,
and Spain to Italy 4-0 in the final.
You know what you're doing leading up to the World Cup now? What are World Cup topics?
Mm.
Players that controversially didn't get picked for a World Cup will be an
he's
interesting.
going to tell you Karim Benzema first.
Then, I don't want to get into it now. I just came
Okay.
to
And
mind
he's
now.
going to say, "Oh, he's playing. You know, he's doing well for
I was going
Madrid."
to
And
think, I don't know if he missed that injury. Paul Gascoigne to 1998.
I think he missed out for other reasons.
Was that? Maybe.
But 96 was a big part of the Euros.
Yeah,
96, yeah, it was huge.
yeah.
It was huge.
98, probably got drunk on the way to the hotel.
Yeah, it was fucking coked out or something.
No, man.
No one knows. Paul Gascoigne.
All right. On that note, I might just end it there.
And
Paul Gaza.
ended on Gaza.
All right. Any last names to come to mind before we go? No?
What is next week's episode and number what?
For the Croatians, one more. Alan Boksic, 98 World Cup.
Is it
yes.
Boksic?
Box.
Remember him?
So just
Lazio,
say box,
Juventus.
and then it's Alan Box is
Great
huge,
player.
huge. They loved him.
I reckon Croatians would probably said if he played, they would have won it.
Yes.
Had gone further.
They think that all the time. But yes, Boxic was a huge player.
Him and Shuka up front would have been really good.
Shuka, we signed Shuka after that.
Mm.
Had a good World Cup.
From us.
Speaking of, Iguain mentioned Alson was one of the favourites. He was very close to signing it. Linked. There you go.
When was that?
Can't remember. And Bayern Munich and Real Madrid were in the battle for him when he was 17, 18. Ended up going to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But
Made the right choice.
next week, episode 80, Fick. 80.
All right.
Big one.
Remember that? Are we doing some? Apparently, were we doing something for episode 80? Someone was going to do something. There was a dare. I don't know
No,
what.
100. Macron was going to shave his head.
Fuck, that feels
Another
so
20. That's going to be
away.
like next year.
Yeah, no.
Let's
Especially
cross that bridge when we get
with
there.
the way we get podcasts out with 2024.
What'd you say? Cross Aboriginals.
Let's cross that bridge when we get there.
Oh,
All
I thought cross Aboriginals. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
right, guys. Have a good night.
It's late, it's late.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.